So there are many different types of fasting interventions that people use to try to improve their health or their body composition. Now, when we talk about intermittent fasting, very often what this means is that people will fast for somewhere between, let's say, 12 and 24-hour periods. That's, very often what people will do. And it's hard to say that there's going to be any meaningful effect on health there. I think that a lot of the benefits that you see reported are likely attributable to caloric restriction. So it's just the fact that you're reducing your overall energy intake. Now, with that said, there is a little bit of nuance there in terms of when you fast. So, for example, if you fast for the morning and the afternoon and eat all your calories in the evening, and you compare that to someone who fasts from the evening period, let's say they cut their meals off at 5 p.m., that's a healthier state, that latter one, than the former. So if you're shifting your eating window to nighttime as opposed to shifting it to morning and afternoon time, that's potentially more detrimental to your health. So there are ways that fasting can be used in terms of cutting your eating window off in the evening and finishing your food for the day sooner. That can improve your health, can improve cardiometabolic risk factors, and I would point you in the direction of Alan Flanagan, who's literally done his PhD in relation to this topic specifically and topics related. Personally, I fast very regularly, but it's primarily due to the fact that it fits my schedule. So when I wake up in the morning and I have work to do, I don't like to eat, okay? And if I have a very busy day, I very often won't eat for the vast majority of the day. I just find that my appetite is quite blunted, particularly at the moment when I'm, mostly sedentary. I find myself just not being hungry, so I'll generally eat a little bit more later in the day. That's not optimal, as I said, but it's practical for me and allows me to get my work done more effectively, which is my priority at the moment. For some people, it can improve dietary adherence for sure, because if they use some sort of intermittent fasting, they find they don't have to worry as much about what's on the plate during mealtime. So you can have larger portions at mealtime, and if you're the type of person who's like forcing down meals at particular times because you think you're supposed to, then you might actually enjoy your diet overall if you didn't eat at the times that you weren't hungry, and you maybe save that food for times when you had time to sit down and eat for a bit longer and enjoy that meal more. Adherence is probably the primary concern for most people. Most of the evidence at this point in time suggests that caloric restriction is the primary mechanism, and thus if you can reduce your calories eating 4 meals a day without fasting, then you're potentially going to get those health benefits anyway. If you are training and you're trying to perform well or build the maximum amount of muscle, fasting is probably not the best way to go about that, okay? We know that spreading your protein intake in your meals across the day is the best way of building or retaining the maximum amount of muscle, so I wouldn't be considering fasting if I was trying to maximize my muscle mass.